Hi guys, I've got a really cool Riesling here for you. It's by Peter Kuhn, and I want to talk you through this labeling. You'll see the eagle with what looks like some grapes. It says VDP, Grosse Lage, and you can see that there's GG and some grapes embossed into the actual bottle. So what does all of that mean? Well, this is actually one of the best Rieslings over in Germany, and I want to talk you through why and why these labels, if you see them, reflect that they're part of the 1%. These are essentially considered Grand Cru of German Riesling. So let me talk you through this. This producer is one of the top producers over in Germany. He's actually one of the leading biodynamic producers. Biodynamic is a holistic approach to vineyard management. You've probably heard of organic and sustainable, where they sort of limit the amount of pesticides that are used. Biodynamic is a step further about that. We're looking at the entire ecosystem, all of the different things that can influence it, from lunar cycles to gamma rays to soil types to natural predators that we add into the vineyard site instead of pesticides to be able to naturally balance that ecosystem. So these wines are said to have the greatest reflection of terroir for that exact reason, because we're naturally managing the vineyard site. And in terms of this site specifically, this is a vineyard site called Duisburg, and this is one of the top vineyard sites in Rheingau, which is a region within Germany, really well known for Rieslings. Part of the reason why it produces fantastic Rieslings is the vineyard sites are on slopes. What that means is we can't machine harvest, so we've got to hand pick. So all hand farmed, low yield. We've got that beautiful sort of cool climate, so lengthening the ripening period, which we want in a Riesling because we want to slow the process of acid levels dropping, sugar levels rising, so we have that beautiful crisp acidity that we love with a Riesling, particularly a dry Riesling. In terms of Rieslings, they range from dry to sweet, and some of that is to do with the ripening, but actually it has more to do with the winemaking process itself. So generally we'll actually stop the fermentation early. So when we're converting yeast and sugar to make alcohol, we don't let that all of the yeast convert all of the sugar, which means we leave residual sugar. That's generally how we get an off-dry Riesling, is we stop the fermentation early. So coming back to this Riesling, beautiful sort of lemon, citrus, you've got that energy and drive, beautiful minerality that comes through. There's a little bit of a herbaceous note, which suggests as well that it's a cool climate. Generally, when we lengthen that ripening period, we can have a little bit of herbaceous notes. Very, very common with high altitude, cool climate wines, like your Chianti Classico has that beautiful herbaceous note. You've got high altitude Malbec, so Tiano and Nerino is a fantastic example of that little bit of herbaceous note that comes through in that cool climate ripening. So beautiful flavor, everything that you want from a dry Riesling, but it's also one of the best. Now I want to talk you through that, and if you've seen my videos, you know that I'm not the best with pronunciation, so I'm going to have my work cut out for me today with all of these German words. VDP, which you'll see on the label, stands for Verband Deutscher Produktgutweingotter. I think that's the best that I'm going to be able to pronounce it, at least. And that is essentially an association over in Germany that essentially classifies. It's a member association, and basically by consensus they classify the wines and rank them. So kind of like a Grand Cru system. And GG generally is, and I'll talk you through what that means, is generally classified or regarded as Grand Cru. So it's not part of the official German wine law, but it's basically a consensus amongst all of the producers, and they have to actually meet strict criteria to be classified in that association. And also depending on whether it's a single vineyard site, so generally you'll see Grosse Lage, which means that it's a single vineyard. If you see GG, which we've seen embossed on the bottle, and you can also see it on the label, this stands for Grosses Gewach. So that essentially means that it is the best dry wine, single vineyard dry wine. So I'm going to step you through that again. So VDP is the association that members are a part of, and they by consensus classify the best wines. Part of that classification is Grosse Lage, which basically says that it's a single vineyard site, and within that, if it's a best reflection of a dry wine, so the best dry wines within that get Grosses Gewaches, which is that GG. So this is essentially, after all of that, part of the 1%. So the top wines that you will get in Germany that are Riesling, beautiful dry Riesling, really crisp. As I said, you've got that nice sort of mineral drive that comes through, a little bit of a herbaceous note from that cool climate. You've got lemon, you've got some of those stone fruits like white peach, beautiful, beautiful Riesling. It's part of the 1% for a reason. It's got that classification. So if you see the eagle, then you'll know that it's part of that member association, and then you'll know that it is one of the best Rieslings, particularly if it's got the GG as well, which classifies some of the best dry wines. Cheers.